Last week, I posted a video about how the law of polarity and the law of oneness work together. And I talked about how in the space between every polarity, there's actually a third space. And in that third space is where our true power lives. And this is what I said. So in the space between every polarity, there's actually a third space, kind of like an energetic middle ground that holds both extremes at once. You can almost think of it as the still point in the center of the spinning wheel. It's the space that opposites dissolve, the space that clarity drops in, and the space that your intuition gets louder. Some people call this space as the void, the neutral point, the womb of creation, or simply stillness. And it's the space where polarity kind of disappears and oneness becomes more visible. So that means that you don't need to be fully healed to find peace, because peace comes from the space between your wounds and your healing. And you don't have to have the perfect plan to feel purpose, because purpose comes from the place between your doubt and your desires. So that space in between is actually where your power lives. So when you have a goal that you're working towards, like paying off your debt, your power is in the journey that you're living until you pay off your debt. It's not when the outcome is already happening. It's the space in between now and your goal. So polarity is right now I'm in debt, and the other end I am not in debt. I am debt free, but this space in between is a spectrum, and the whole thing is oneness. As I was making that video, I started to get this feeling like everything was starting to make sense and how manifestation can actually work. Then I posted a clip of that video on my TikTok, and one of my followers asked this: does this third space involve harmonics and homeostasis? And I immediately was like, you know what? Yes, it actually does. What a great question. And then everything started to make even more sense. I mean, talk about the law of oneness, right? Hi, I'm Gabby, and I started this channel back when I was on maternity leave, and I wanted to create a space for myself and for other moms like me to have a more aligned mindset around what we want to achieve, which in my case is to pay off my debt and live a more financially healthy life. But the thing is, the more that I learn about money and the more that I pay off my debt, the deeper that I get into this loophole around spirituality and the flow of energy and manifestation and all of that good stuff. So my videos lately have been a little less about money and more about mindset and spirituality, because at the end of the day, everything's connected. And just a disclaimer, I'm going to get very sciencey in this video, but I'm not a scientist or a doctor or an expert in manifestation of any kind. I'm just super into this type of things, and I want to share with you guys what I have learned. So you probably have heard people say something like raise your vibration, shift your mindset, or act as if it's already here. But what does that actually mean? How does your internal state actually influence your external reality? So today we're going to talk about two concepts: homeostasis and harmonics, and how they quietly shape what you manifest and what you block and what you attract. Most people think of manifestation like you think of something, then you visualize it, you hold that frequency, and then you just receive it like magic. And while mindset and vision matters, a lot of people skip one part that actually creates alignment. And by that, I mean that a lot of people say that they want something new, but they're still emotionally attached to an old version of themselves that is not aligned with that something that they want. Or they set intentions, but they hold a different emotional baseline. For example, they might want to pay off debt, but being in debt is actually where they feel comfortable. Or they speak their desires, but they send mixed energetic signals. Like they want to be more financially stable, but they keep making the same decisions that keep them stuck. And that's when homeostasis and harmonics come in. So let's start with homeostasis. Homeostasis is your internal set point, and it's all about balance. It's your temperature, it's your blood pressure, your hydration, everything that is held steady. But the thing is, we also have an emotional set point, like a familiar emotional state, a familiar level of safety, or a familiar version of ourselves. And no matter what we desire, we subconsciously return to this home space or this space where we feel familiar. For example, you might want financial growth, but your homeostasis is around lack and survival mode. Or you might want a deep connection, but your emotional baseline is, I need to earn love. Or you want a bigger life, but your nervous system is calibrated around, I need to stay small so I can stay safe. Now ask yourself, does my emotional set point match the reality that I desire? Because the truth is, manifestation doesn't happen when you want something. It starts when the new thing starts to feel like home. And until that dream that you're working towards doesn't feel like home, your nervous system is going to see expansion as unfamiliar. And it will sabotage, procrastinate, numb, disconnect, and distract. Not because you're not worthy, but because your nervous system is trying to return to what's familiar. Homeostasis is not emotional failure, it's emotional recycling. And manifestation requires changing that baseline. Now, to shift emotional homeostasis, you don't use force, you use familiarity. Because when something becomes familiar, it starts to feel safe. And a few ways that this could happen is through repetition. Like, how would the version of me that already has this think on a daily basis? Or through visualization, or through nervous system regulation, like breathing, grounding, meditating, and self soothing. And by behaving from the identity that you want before the outcome arrives. So when the future becomes familiar, as if it's already here in the present moment. And you can do this because time is fluid and there's actually no real future or past. It's all present moment. It's all one big present moment. And that's when alignment forms. Remember, manifestation is not about becoming someone else. It's about normalizing a version of you who already exists. And that leads us to harmonics, or your emotional overtones. When you play a musical tone, you actually hear layers or overtones, and your thoughts work the same way. So the statement, I want financial freedom, might actually carry undercurrents like shame, unworthiness, pressure, urgency, or fear of loss. So your words speak one intention, but harmonics speak your truth, and the universe responds to harmonics. Your alignment is not measured by what you say you want, but by the emotional frequency underneath the desire. For example, you want success, but your harmonics is saying, if I succeed, then people will start to see me differently. Mixed harmonics create mixed results. Pure harmonics create a clear path. Now, how can you shift your harmonics? The goal here is not to fake positivity. The goal is to clean emotional resonance. And you do this by allowing yourself to feel what you actually feel. And you can even speak it out like, I want expansion, but I fear responsibility. Or I want abundance, but I worry that it will disappear. Once these feelings are acknowledged, they begin to dissolve. If you don't allow yourself to acknowledge these feelings, then how could you resolve them? You know what I mean? Then ask yourself, how would I respond emotionally if I already had this? And sit with that feeling, even if it's for only 10 seconds, because that's what's going to start to change your harmonics. Now, how do homeostasis and harmonics work together to form a reality? So just to recap, homeostasis is what feels normal, and harmonics is what you actually broadcast. So when your emotional baseline matches your desired identity and your harmonics aligns with that desire, you become congruent or in harmony with the universe. You don't pretend, you don't force, you just become congruent. So when you say, I want financial growth, your harmonic tone will be money supportive, not stressful. And your homeostasis will be abundance feels normal. And when those two match, people, opportunities, timing, and clarity begin to show up for you without you needing to chase them. So I think that the key takeaway here is that manifestation is not about grand affirmations or forcing beliefs or energetically pushing. And it's more about becoming emotionally available and recalibrating internal safety and normalizing what once felt foreign and resonating instead of requesting. Manifestation isn't pulling something towards you. It's relaxing into a version of you that is already compatible with what you want. When you shift to what feels familiar, you stop chasing life and life starts to find you. And as always, thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope that you liked this video. And if you did, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I'm here for you and I'm sending you all the positive energy for you to shift your homeostasis and align your harmonics to achieve your biggest dreams. And I'll see you in the next one.